golf ball sized hail. That's another reason that we have this storm warned at this time, is also for large hail. So Ridgeway, there's Campbell, and again, that circulation has been right around Campbell and Cumbie, and it's moving southeast along. Just, you can almost follow the hail track there as to where the circulation has been the strongest within this cell. We'll go ahead and put the lightning back on here, and this will give you a really good indication of how much ice is in that storm. Look at that. So remember, the lightning is moved along with the hail track. So there's a ton of ice within that cell right now near Ridgeway and Campbell, and heavy rainfall also. So there's going to be really heavy rain moving over the interstate, and that's going to cause some other problems for anybody driving east or west in terms of hydroplaning on the highway tonight. All right, let's go back and show you the warning that is currently in effect right now. It is a tornado warning, and it is in effect until 7:30. That's going to be the counties in red there that are in that red shaded box, and it does include, I believe that's Hunt County and Hopkins County, and then it was a small portion of Delta, but now it looks like it's moved out of that. So from the Weather Service, let me see what this is, the latest from the Fort Worth Weather Service. This is going to be northeastern Hunt County. So that's going to be this area right in here. And then we've got southwestern parts of Hopkins County. And at this started at 6:45. This storm is moving southeast at 25 miles an hour. It's still radar indicated rotation, but when you take off the lightning, you can see this is one of these almost textbook, what we call tornado vortex signatures right here, a little hook echo north and west of Cumbie. So that's near Campbell and dropping southeastward. So what we could do is we could slice this storm right in here and look at the internal structure of the storm and see if there's any possibility that what we're seeing would be, and that's Savannah Hale's going to be cutting that. So what we're looking at is the tops of this thunderstorm is above 50,000 feet, okay? So strong updraft winds going to 50,000 feet. So it's really cold air up here. And in this portion of the storm is likely where we're getting this hail growth. And as those hailstones get lofted, of course, they're falling, but because there's such strong wind coming right in here, it throws those hailstones back up. So it's one of the reasons that we are seeing larger hail. All right, let's zoom in if we can, right in on this area here. We have a little bit of a weak echo region here. So that weak echo region, which is likely going to be in that Campbell-Cumbie area right here, could be where they're just near Commerce, you can see. That could be where we may have at least some strong rotation, at least a wall cloud, and always the possibility that any type of wall cloud could put down a tornado. All right, we'll go back and switch this view back around so you can get kind of the 3D view of that. That's the 3D view. We're going to go back up top on it so that you can see it from the different vantage point. There's Lone Star, there's Point, there's Commerce, there's Gap, all right, or Lone Oak, I should say. East Tawakoni, and here's Brashear. So as this storm moves southeastward into those other counties, and again, it could possibly move down toward Wood County if it were to hold together. But it's got 26 minutes on the warning as it goes right now. And with that warning, we should be able to tell you just to go to your safe place as best you can, as soon as you can. And once you get to that safe place, then just, listen to us on the CBS19 app and make sure that you are taking precaution. I mean, I would not be panicking about this. It's just it is a tornado warning, but again, it's a radar indicated tornado. Once we get some spotters on that storm and they are able to confirm whether or not we would have a tornado, then you'd see dashed lines within that box. But right now, radar indicated, but a pretty good indication when I look at that there possibly could be something that would be spinning up there. Let's go back to velocity from this view here. And we're looking at the Fort Worth radar. And this is going to be the greens going winds or rainfall going back toward Fort Worth. The red is going to be going away. It doesn't look particularly strong. It looks like the rotation has broadened out quite a bit. It has weakened from what I've seen earlier. We were getting a lot stronger outbound winds and inbound winds. So it looks like it's weakened. That's good news. Rotation's rather wide too, probably a couple miles wide. So if any spotters are out there looking at it, what they're essentially is looking at this really broad base of the cloud. And when we dissected the storm a little bit earlier, we could see a little bit of a lowering. There's probably a lowering in that cell, but we could see really high cloud tops on this. So this is probably a large hail producer, but with that large hail that's being produced, the strong rotation that would be helping to throw those hailstones up into the air, or in that strong updraft strength. That's the reason that you could have this. If you get a lot of strong updrafts, then you can also get a lot of strong downdrafts on the rear flank, and then also in the front. You could pull those winds back in toward the inflow, and then you can possibly create a spinning or a vortex or a tornado at some point. So that's not what we have right now. It's just all radar indicated, and it's closer or close enough to the Fort Worth radar site that I would say that this is a fairly good picture of what's going on. But again, it's probably shooting at about 3,000 to 4,000 feet up into the air. So it's really picking up that rotation. It's just off the ground a little bit. So that's why spotters are so important in situations like this. Looks like it just tightened up a little bit there to the southwest of Cumbie. Let me see if there's any new information coming in from the Weather Service. Right now, it does not look like anything. Savannah, widen everything out so we can get kind of a perspective on what else we're seeing. We're also getting a special weather statement here for some small hail and 55-mile-an-hour winds in Cherokee County that has just come in. So that's the tornado warning right now. There's another severe thunderstorm warning back to the west, and then we have a severe thunderstorm warning also here. Let's go check that one out. That's going to be down here toward Anderson County. This is Palestine. So Palestine is getting a very strong thunderstorm, that bright pink area, likely some hail. Hail will also possibly move into parts of Cherokee County, so severe thunderstorm warning just touches Cherokee County till 8 p.m. So we have that tornado warning to the north and this severe thunderstorm warning that was issued not long ago from the National Weather Service out of Shreveport. Well, this is the severe thunderstorm warning was issued out of the Fort Worth office, but the special weather statement for the cell as it moves southeastward into Cherokee County was issued by the National Weather Service out of Shreveport. So just if we widen everything out a little bit more. So definitely the better energy, the better dynamics for severe thunderstorms are out here closer to Dallas down toward Waco. That's where there is a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock tonight. Once these cells move closer to Tyler, I'd say Smith County, maybe Wood County, Western Upshur, Cherokee, and Anderson County. Once you get south and east of that, there is not as much available energy for thunderstorms, believe it or not. There was rain and thunder earlier today, kind of robbed some of that energy out of the atmosphere, did not have as much time to recover and build that back up, and cloud cover may have just kind of dampened that a little bit. The better, what we call wind shift in direction with height, is going to be also back here where we're seeing that tornado warning that's in effect right now. So certainly as these storms move south and eastward, there could still be severe thunderstorm warnings. But if we're going to talk about and it's a low-end tornado threat, that's why when you look at this, we might get another warning out of this, but this may be the only tornado warning of the evening. But that's why it's going to be closer back toward Hopkins County or into Hunt County. So we'll see if it can get extended down into Rains or Wood County, but it's really going to depend on the cell itself, if it can maintain its own energy and just kind of feed off of the environment around it. But again, it's moving into an environment that is not as conducive for tornadoes. So we'll see what happens here, but I think this is one of the reasons that these cells that are severe warned out in Anderson County as they move into Cherokee County right now are being watched. We would consider this a special weather statement from the Weather Service where they tell us that, there's winds to 40 miles an hour, maybe up to 50 miles an hour, but it just doesn't quite meet the criteria of a severe thunderstorm warning. Very strong storm, don't get me wrong, but sometimes they just don't get to that. You can have nickel-sized hail, but you're not getting quarter-sized hail. So you're getting hail, but you're not getting hail that qualifies as a severe thunderstorm warning. All right, let's go back up here and revisit this cell. We have about 19 minutes left on this this tornado warning at this time. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning that was attached to it that had a possible tornado, that has been replaced with this tornado warning. So Cumbie is still in that area. It's still considered, as I look at the Weather Service report, it's still being considered as radar indicated at this time from the Fort Worth office. And that spotters did again earlier. If you're just joining us, there were some spotters that were up north closer to, and let me look at where this was. This came out of Commerce, about a mile northwest of Commerce. There was a lowering on that cell, but rotation was not observed. So, and that would coincide with where it was back there, and this is likely going to be the same portion of that cell down toward Cumbie. So this could easily be slowly rotating as it moves southeastward. Sulphur Springs, heavy rain right now. I would bet if Savannah, if we check out the hail here again, there's going to be some very large hail continuing at the cell. That's the other part of this story here tonight. If you've got a car that needs to be in a carport, in a garage, anything that could have some hail damage, some of this hail here is going to be in the order of golf balls, if not larger. When we start seeing the pinks here, we're looking generally at hailstones that could be closer to ping pong, maybe closer, getting closer up there to 1 3/4, so still golf ball. So that's a good indication. So I think here closer to 2 inches of 2-inch hail. So you might be getting a little bit bigger, maybe in the order of ping pong, maybe getting closer to the hen egg size. But I think we have to get a little bit above that to about 2 1/4. So we're not quite there, but that's large hail. It's enough to put a couple of dings in your car for sure. If you don't have it covered for sure. All right, let's go back and put the reflectivity back here. So remember where you saw the hail streak, right? I put the reflectivity back on and we'll be able to tell where, so right there. So the hail is right here, that pink that just flashed. So the hail cores are often, right, to the north or to the, if you're looking at it on the radar screen here, to the right of the notch. So where we possibly could have some rotation. So that's where the hail core is going to be. Why? Because the strong winds are coming in, they're being wrapped up into the storm. So any type of ice crystals, raindrops that are being lofted into the cloud and then falling back through the cloud are going to be lofted and picked back up. So this could be a kind of a larger area here. There could be some smaller hail out here, or at least a few hailstones being tossed within the thunderstorm. But we put the lightning back on here. Just watch how much lightning there is. So it's still a strong supercell feeding off of its environment as we made it up to about 93 in Tyler today. So we were warm, the dew points here in the mid 70s, a lot of juice in the atmosphere, just conducive for this. And we still continue to see, so there's likely wind flowing out here. So we're getting downdraft winds, probably dropping the temperature over toward Pickens and maybe even back toward Lone Oak. So the winds are flowing out here and then they're being pulled back toward the storm and wrapped back into the storm here. The backside here, this flanking line that is trying to develop, there's a couple of lobes here, so we're seeing some thunderstorms developing back here. The flanking line also producing some winds, and so those could also be wrapped back into the storm. So looking at it, it's a dangerous storm. But again, if you're in your shelter, you're fine. I'm not saying that danger is imminent or there is a tornado imminent, but we certainly have to take precautions because it is radar indicated. There's strong enough rotation within that cell to produce a tornado. So we'll turn off the lightning, we'll go back to our velocity, and what we're using here is a product called storm relative velocity. So we're taking out the motion of the storm, so we're taking away the motion of the storm. Because if the storm is moving rapidly, sometimes those winds can get computed into the wind speed. So we're taking that apart, and it's got a little bit stronger southeast of Cumbie, or I should say southwest of Cumbie, southeast of Dixon, but it's widened out. So this is really sort of it's stretching out that whole area in the middle part of the cloud that is producing the warning here tonight, or at least the area of possible rotation. That's starting to stretch out, so this is a good scene. So we'll see if the Weather Service continues this tornado warning past 7:30. My instincts right now tell me that this will likely become a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag on it as it moves southeast, possibly into Wood County. But we will go back to, and we'll join Lone Star, or I should say Yellowstone, as soon as we get this tornado warning expired, or at least maybe replaced with a warning. All right, so we're looking at our Titan indicators here. So what are you looking at here? Strong updrafts, indication of hail. So if we looked at that, we would be inspecting the storm, and we can do that if we turn off the warnings first. Then we can click on that indicator, and this will be, so what we're doing is we're using a bunch of mathematical problems or algorithms to look inside that storm. So the maximum hail size, as I said, possibly was looking at hen egg size, so that would correlate right here at about 3 inches. The probability that that storm has some hail in it is 100%. The probability that it has at least quarter-sized hail in there is 100%. So that's why you have at least the severe thunderstorm warning. The wind impact here, and there could be just some strong downburst winds out of this storm, is up to an 8. The hail impact is at a 7, and the flooding impact is a 4. So that's a pretty strong supercell. The only thing is the tornado impact is still 0. We like to see that, right? We like to see that. Live update on that is that the hail dropped down a little bit. The maximum hail size stayed the same, still moving roughly at 26 miles an hour to the southeast as we showed you. So large hail, the wind is coming down a little bit, so it may be gusting out. The hail is still there. So we'll take away the Titan indicator, and we will widen this out a little bit. We're going to put a new track on. Let's put it on the whole cell itself, southeast, and now we can kind of track it toward the north end of Lake Fork, over toward Emory and down toward Quitman. So if it's still moving to the southeast at roughly 26 to 30 miles an hour, that would take it up to Point here at 7:35, so in about 18 minutes. Seymour in about 7 minutes. Arbala in about 9 minutes. Emory 7:46. So there's Seymour, so it's likely knocking right on the door at Seymour right now. So this might be even a little bit ahead. Remember, the storm is moving to the southeast, so we're scanning, we're getting that data back in, and so the storm can move as we're scanning that data. Quitman 7:55, Alba 8 o'clock, 8:10 toward Golden. So you're definitely at least going to get some rain and thunder and a really heavy rain in parts of Wood County and in parts of Rains County and over a portion of Lake Fork, and likely some the big storm out there toward Lake Tawakoni also, or Cedar Creek Lake. So that's a pretty strong thunderstorm at this time. Look at the lightning, just a lot of lightning within that. And the tornado warning continues till 7:30. So that is the most important thing here. We still have this little inflow notch. We still have this bounded weak echo region possibly right in here. It looks like we may be trying to recycle something and perhaps get another sort of circulation going there. But if we were going to have a tornado, it would be right in here in this region where the winds are wrapping in from both the west side of the storm and the east side of the storm. So if it's going to, it looks like this is starting to weaken a little bit. That's certainly, this is good news. This is good news, and the Weather Service continues that warning for about the next, now we have about 11 minutes to go until that warning expires. And as we said, once we get the warning expired, we'll go back to regular programming. We'll crawl the information, but we will also continue streaming on our website, CBS19.tv, and we will continue streaming also on our YouTube channel, so you can watch us there once we go back to those, once we go back to regular programming. So we'll stay on with the streaming on the app, on the website, on the YouTube channel, and walk us through this storm, because at any point, I mean, we could have another tornado warning issued, but interestingly enough, the same sort of pattern developed over southern Oklahoma last night. So I'm not totally shocked as the whole part of the cell or storm system moves through the central and southern plains as it does, that we wouldn't see a couple of warnings here in that area where there was a 2% warning. But if you hear about 2% warnings, that's still not 0, right? It's low, but it means it can still happen. So we have to keep our eyes out for that, and it just moved into the right kind of environment for at least a tornado warning to pop. And it's right in the area that the Storm Prediction Center had circled earlier today. It was essentially northeast corner of Texas, the Arklatex back just to the north of Dallas, north of Interstate 30. A couple of other cells trying to pop up. I'm a little surprised by the fact that we're not seeing more clustering of these showers and thunderstorms, which should happen at some point tonight to where we get a widespread heavier rain. It may still happen, and maybe this is what the development is there between Ennis up towards Sulphur Springs. So this may fill in, and if it does, then most of us will get a good drenching of rain tonight. And this may just be the beginning also. The computer data suggests that this will go on till 4 or 5 in the morning with repeated rounds of rain and thunder. The severe threat here, right now, there's a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock. So at the present time, the threat for severe weather is Henderson and Van Zant County until 11 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warning out there till 8 o'clock. Anderson County severe thunderstorm warning also until 8 p.m. tonight. And then we have the tornado warning up to the north for a part of Hopkins County. And did that get dropped? Nope. Let's put the warnings back on there. Still the warning. I would be surprised if they were to drop that warning. They'll probably let that run on out there. So Let's see what the Weather Service has to say from their spotters. Again, there was no rotation observed, but certainly the possibility with half-dollar sized hail. We showed you our hail indicator. Our estimate was that we could be getting closer to some hen egg sized hail. We do have reports with that storm of at least golf ball sized hail that was coming through. So just looking to see what if we have any other kind of information coming out of the Weather Service. Savannah, anything that you've seen so far?
Nothing that I have seen so far.
All right. Looks like so far the National Weather Service out of Shreveport's keeping things pretty quiet at this time, so they have not come up with anything. So let's go back to velocity or storm relative, and if my instincts are correct here, this should continue. This has been kind of maintaining its same type of intensity. Maybe it tightened up a little bit south of Cumbie, and again, that's gonna be very possible where you'll see things that they'll pulse up and down and back and forth just a little bit. The purple area here, the signal is starting to bend back toward the Earth. It's just kind of too hard to see, and let's widen everything out here a little bit because I want to look at how far away from the Fort Worth site. So Fort Worth is the radar site's out here, so it's shooting over to Sulphur Springs. So yeah, we're a couple thousand, 3,000 feet in the air where we're looking at that rotation. So of course they're using other products to fill in that bottom 3,000 feet and spotter data and spotter accounts where they have seen some lowering that was with that cell as it was back toward Commerce and dropping southeastward. But right now, no confirmed tornado, no damage or anything of that nature. In fact, if we go to our damage or our debris tracker, we probably won't see any kind of debris. We may see some hail in there. All of this product here is likely going to be hail. Now, there was wind. There was quite a bit of wind, so there may be some leaves being lofted into the air there from just some very strong wind, but also just where these little dropouts are, there's probably some larger hailstones that are being tossed out from the cell itself. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything that would indicate that there's any type of building material or insulation or anything like that. So kind of confident we don't have a tornado on the ground, but just a radar indicated tornado just by looking at that. All right, let's go back to just the normal rain reflectivity product, and maybe throw this into motion a couple of times and just kind of watch this move southeastward. And it kind of blew up there, but you can see how fast, watch this, watch how fast it starts to rotate. So it blew up, it got into that environment across Delta County into northwestern Hunt County or northeastern Hunt County, and now it's moving southeastward toward Emory. Of course, we're losing some daylight also. That will help to take some of the energy out of the atmosphere here tonight. And another part of that cell split and went north into Lamar County. They did pop a warning up there for a severe thunderstorm warning. Anytime a cell splits, this is the one you want to watch for strengthening, and it certainly did strengthen and rotated pretty good here into Hopkins County. So still some rotation being noted. If you look at it, you can see the thing kind of spinning. So that spinning will continue as it moves on down here into Wood County. So we'll probably get a severe thunderstorm warning in Wood County at least. Rains County, severe thunderstorm warning. There may be what they call a tornado possible tag on that. So they put that tornado possible tag on that, meaning that they'd have a severe thunderstorm warning, but we'd have to be ready in case they issued another tornado warning. So let's zoom in on this area. I think it should be south of Commerce now. It should be even southeast of Cumbie. Lone Oak, so if you're in Lone Oak, you're going to get really hit with some heavy rainfall. Lots of lightning. Bonanza's getting it right now. Seymour is in. Yantis, you're just a few minutes away from very heavy rain. North end of Lake Fork, very heavy rain about to occur there. Sulphur Springs, seeing some intermittent lightning. The rain is probably coming and going, ebbing and flowing just a little bit. The heaviest rain right now over Cumbie. Likely some hail there. And we have to watch, the lowering would be here between Lone Oak and Bonanza. Back here, let's zoom in a little bit and maybe we'll find out one of the highways in that area west of Greenview. So near Greenview, if you're in Greenview with the tornado warning in place, a good idea to get into your safe place right now. So this is going to be Highway 69, so that's going to be just north of that. North of Point, but really just some neighborhoods down in those areas. There's Highway 19 going up toward Cooper, and Bonanza, so it's going to be right in there. So just northwest and kind of between those two highways, some county roads out there. I'm not seeing any FMs, farm to market roads popping up on that. The lightning, we can probably take that off, and it's just we're seeing some really big lightning strikes, but those aren't that big. All right, so that's where we're looking at. We don't see any. It's really well. Yeah, let's just widen things out because we're not getting any kind of county roads or anything. So we need some other landmarks. And I think the best landmarks to work off of are going to be the towns. Bonanza, you can stay out a little bit wider so that we can just kind of see. So there's Emory. That's a good indication of Dixon's going to be back there to the west. So that cell itself, Martin Springs, is getting a lot of heavy rainfall right now. The rain just beginning to lighten up a little bit at Campbell, and then over toward Cumbie, and then southeastward. So here's the area of concern right in here. Again, radar indicated, nothing confirmed on the ground. There was a wall cloud observed miles or back toward Commerce. Continues to slowly weaken a little bit. Tornado warning continues for about the next 2.5 minutes. Let me see if I can get any kind of indication from the Weather Service whether or not they are going to allow this to expire. If they do allow it to expire, we're going to go back to Yellowstone, get you back to the programming. And then we will monitor this, but we will continue. We'll take a little break if you're watching us already on our stream. There will be a little bit of a break. And then from that break, what we'll do is we'll pick it back up just a little in a few minutes. That'll be at CBS19.tv. It will also be on our YouTube channel and through the app. So if you have the mobile app and you're watching any of those means, then that you can continue to track this storm as it moves over toward and south into Wood County. So we'll waiting for some coordination from the Shreveport office, because what happens is at this point here, it changes from the jurisdiction of Fort Worth and it goes into Shreveport as it gets into Wood County. So right now they are not giving us any indication as to whether or not they're going to do anything with that cell. Yeah, not seeing anything else coming out of the no other warnings being issued for this. So it's just a matter of wait and see at this point to see what the next step is. Latest message now coming from the Weather Service. They just had some near the city of Commerce, had some half-inch hail. That's the latest storm report that we have. The severe thunderstorm warning continues for Ellis County. That's going to be out toward Ennis. That goes until 8 o'clock. There are some severe thunderstorm warnings until 8 o'clock. So Palestine Fire Department is watching possible rotation west loop 256. Nothing touched down yet, but they were reporting hail as well. So I'll tell you what, let's go down and look at that Palestine storm, Anderson County. That's going to be right here. This one has been rotating. I don't see anything. That's a strong updraft, lots of lightning with it. It may be strengthening a little bit. That's going to be south of Natchez. There's Elkhart, but it's really right in the city of Palestine at this time. So that cell will need to be watched. Let's maybe we'll click and do our Titan indicator. It looks like it's a medium strength updraft. So maximum hail size there looks really impressive. That's bigger than hen egg size for sure. The probability that you're getting at least quarters inside that storm, 100%, and the hail impact is highest with that storm again. So let's track that real fast, and then we'll go back up. We're about ready to have the tornado warning in Hopkins County expire. And like I said, when it does, we'll go back to regular programming. So let's widen this out and track this as it moves, I believe, southeast also at about 25 miles an hour. Those cells are all moving southeast at 25 miles an hour, or 25 to 30 here tonight. So that's headed down into Houston County. So Mound City, 739, Salmon, 737, right on the doorstep there, toward Augusta, Waichis at 756, and if it holds together, Kennard at 822. All right, let's go back up top here and see what we have going on with the, all right, so there it is. So we have, yes, we have a rotation indicated within that cell. Tornado warning has been dropped. Severe thunderstorm warning now issued for Rains County and Van Zant County, and they have even dropped the tornado possible tag on that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to send you back to regular programming now, to Yellowstone. We appreciate you watching. I'm with Savannah Hale tonight here in the CBS19 Weather Center. For those of you watching on CBS19, we'll send you back to regular programming. For those of you watching on our stream, Sit tight for about a minute. We'll let that transition take place, and then we'll come back up and talk more about this cell. So are we back? So we're still streaming? All right. We are still streaming. I'm assuming that we are streaming. So if you're watching us here,